The Yuba County Five, a factual story until 1978. Five men drove into the mountains and made choices that no one has ever been able to explain. On February 24th, 1978, five friends attended a college basketball game in Chico, California. They were excited, laughing, and looking forward to their own game the next day. The men, Jack Madruga, Bill Sterling, Ted Wire, Gary Mathias, and Jackie Hewitt, were known for their close bond. They were part of a community program and shared a deep love for basketball. After the game, they stopped at a convenience store. Witnesses later confirmed they bought snacks, candy bars, sodas, and milk.
That was the last confirmed sighting of them alive together. They should have driven south toward home, but they never did. Days later, concern turned into panic. Families reported the men missing when they didn't show up for their basketball game. Search efforts began, but no one knew where to look. The route home was simple, familiar. There was no reason for them to vanish. Then came the discovery that changed everything. Their car was found abandoned in the Plumas National Forest, far from their intended route. The location made no sense. The road was remote, winding, and dangerous, especially at night. Inside the car, everything appeared normal. There were no signs of struggle or panic.
The keys were missing, but the gas tank was nearly full. The car itself was undamaged and fully functional. Even stranger, the car wasn't stuck. It could have been easily driven away. Why would five men abandon a perfectly working car in freezing conditions? That question would haunt investigators. Footprints suggested they had left the vehicle and walked into the wilderness. But where? And why? Winter conditions in the mountains were brutal. Temperatures dropped well below freezing at night. Weeks passed with no answers. Snowfall buried clues, making the search even more difficult. Then, months later, as the snow began to melt, the first grim discovery was made. The body of Jack Madruga was found miles from the car. Not far away, Bill Sterling's remains were also discovered. They had died from exposure. It appeared they had wandered, lost in the freezing wilderness. But the mystery only deepened when more evidence emerged. Another body was found in a different location. Ted Wire's remains were discovered inside a Forest Service trailer, nearly 20 miles from the car. Inside the trailer was everything needed to survive. Food supplies, blankets, and a working heater were present. The heater could have been easily turned on, but it wasn't.
Dozens of food cans were left unopened, enough to keep someone alive for months. Ted Ware had survived for weeks inside that trailer. Evidence showed he had rationed small amounts of food. Yet, despite the supplies, he eventually died of starvation and exposure. Shoes belonging to another man were found nearby, suggesting someone else had been there too. But there was no sign of Gary Mathias. He was never found. Jackie Hewitt's remains were eventually discovered, but not all questions were answered. Investigators were left with a series of impossible questions. Why had they driven so far off course? Why abandon a working car in the cold? Why walk into the wilderness at night? And most disturbing of all, why didn't they use the supplies that could have saved them?
Some theories suggested confusion or fear. Others pointed to something or someone they may have encountered. But no theory has ever fully explained the events. The case remains unsolved. Five men entered the mountains that night. Only questions ever came back out. So what made them drive into the wilderness? and what stopped them from returning.
Thank you for listening. Please consider subscribing to my channel for more terrifying tales coming weekly. If you enjoyed this story, I have many more available in paperback worldwide on Amazon, Beyond the Campsite and Beyond the Campsite 2, A Trail Too Far.